addition, the bill list, I did provide you the bill list. It's at your seat this evening if you look it over. I would appreciate if any of you are going to abstain on an item on the bill list, if you could contact me ahead of time, because I'll tell you the truth, I'm getting old and I'm having trouble keeping track. When you're saying things, Mr. Cofoot has been very kind. He's been giving me a typed out list of where he's abstaining on specific items. I would ask if each of you could, if you just want to shoot me an email that says, on these items, so I can come in and make sure I don't miss who's abstaining on what, because it is confusing for me. The report of the Treasurer's School monies, we are attempting very hard to give you 4 reports this month. You will get July. They are basically done. We are attempting to get August completed for your next meeting so that you will be approving and current. Right now, I'm going to tell you there's about an 80-20 shot that you will get it. However, when you did approve it, you gave me out, you said, well, it could be as far as October. Well, I'm telling you, we're pushing to get it in September. I believe we're going to be there. So you may be asked to vote on 2 sets of secretary and treasurer's reports. Then, of course, the certifications. We have received our allocation. The grant has been submitted on number 9 for the NCLB. We did get the response. I provided a copy for each of you at your desk this evening, where the state has replied to us that the grant was substantially approvable, and therefore we can begin to commit those funds. That is the spending plan on how those grant monies are to be allocated. I do want to mention that next week I hopefully will have the same thing on the agenda for the IDEA grant. We did get the allocation notice. We are attempting to get that grant submitted so that we can approve that one next week also. But we just found the allocation notice today, and they're working diligently to see if we can get that finished. This is the 3rd project. The board approved this to move forward with the 3 playgrounds for the preschool. This is, I need you to ratify this. This was the final playground. They have started working on it. It's in accordance to what we had suggested. This is the final prices for it. We also have Remington and Burdick. The last piece of the puzzle with this playground in particular is it needed to be, because it was outside and not in the courtyard, the area needed to be made handicap accessible. So you'll notice in number 11 there is not a company name and there is not a dollar amount. We have, through Remington and Burdick, we have quotations coming in, because it does not hit the threshold, to do the concrete walk that's necessary for the ramping to get to the playground, as well as the railing. Those quotes are due in, and I will have the recommendation of Remington and Burdick in terms of who to award this work to. But that's why it's blank this evening. The next is a change order. During the, when the bid spec was put together and reviewed and approved, the equipment came in for the kitchen line at the high school, and we were requested by the food service director to switch the equipment to equipment that enables the students to take the wrapped food off of it and not have to have it at the high school to wrap sandwiches and that type of thing. The equipment that was spec'd only had access from the rear, which means that in order to make the line move, we would end up having to hire an additional 2 people to work the cafeteria line because the kids can't get to the sandwiches. So we are well within what the project originally was budgeted for. This does switch out the equipment, and we get the credit for the equipment that has been placed there. So I'm going to ask for that approval. The payment application for the fire alarm system. That is a completed project that met and was done prior to the opening of school.
Is that the closeout figure?
I do not believe it's a closeout. I gave you a copy of that. I don't believe it is the closeout. I believe it's just a payment along the way, because I have not gotten all the documents. I sent that home in your pack. I do have a copy here if you'd like to look at it.
I'll look at it later on.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, it is not the closeout.
I thought they were on minutes.
But it should be in the, if not,
Yeah.
I will
It was
provide.
all- I thought this was all minutes, I don't know.
Okay.
8,595 including with
Yes. Yes. So we haven't gotten, because I haven't gotten yet all the certificates, all the warranties. I haven't received that, and once we get that, that's when final payment would be issued. And that's my report, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Oberg.
Excuse me, Mr. Oberg, I have a question
Yes,
about
ma'am.
the bill list.
Yes.
A couple of items I just would like a little clarification on.
Okay.
On page 3,
Let me get, just a minute, I have to get mine. I do have a copy here somewhere. On page 9, you said?
3.
3? I told you.
3 times
Oh,
3.
man. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
On page 3, under EIRC, you have 2 payments.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you explain the professional development?
I would have to rely upon either,
What's the price?
One is
One's 11,
9,000
one's
and the other is 10,999.50.
And I believe that those are for the power walkthrough construction that was completed in December for the administrators and teachers. There were 2 sessions.
Okay.
And they were paid for by NCLB funds.
Thank you. Page 6. Where it says Pennsauken Board of Ed, 8/31/11.
Pennsauken Board of Ed, 8/31/11.
That's the description.
I will, it has something to do with payroll. My recollection with that is that there was a additional check that had to be released. I believe there was, someone had, when we did payroll, had given us a direct deposit, an account to deposit their money into for payroll during the summer. The individual closed that account, so their payroll check went to the bank, and then when we got the funds back from the bank, because they closed the account, we then issued a check, which is not part of the regular payroll. It nets out the same because the money came back to us, but we had to issue a separate check. I believe that is what that is. I will double check. If that is not the correct answer, I will give you that correct answer on next week.
Thank you. Also, under your 2, under Quinlan, Dunn, and McConnell.
I'm sorry, on what page?
Page 6,
Okay.
and also on page 1 of the August special checks. It's on the last page. Go up, I guess, about 6 pages.
Okay. All the special checks?
Right.
Okay.
There are 2 checks on the bill list for Quinlan, Dunn, and McConnell, and both for the 2 months are totaling over $26,000. And I have a question in terms of who authorized them, and also information about the bills. I see the bills here. If there's an itemized list of the particular tasks.
I believe I believe my secretary does email a copy of those invoices to all the board members if that
Yes.
did not come to you.
No, I do have it, that's what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
In terms of who authorized it, I review the bill when it comes in.
Okay.
If it does total through, and it matches in terms of the descriptions, because I read what is being charged, I sign off on it. Who authorized the use of the solicitor? I'm not involved with that, so I couldn't give you an answer with regard to that.
Okay.
But I can tell you that the invoice that is there is for time that is worked,
Okay.
and that's why I initial it that it's okay to put on the bill list to make payment.
Okay. Is there an itemized list for the time and the services? Because there are many tasks, but they're grouped together with time. Under either 6 or 6A, I think it's 6A, the tasks have to be listed with the time. One task, time, not jumbled together.
It is listed that way. It says
No,
the
it's
task,
not.
then it says .6, and then it gives it it's .6 hours, and then it'll give a total all the way to the right.
Yes, however,
Yeah, perhaps I'm better suited to answer that
Yeah,
than
excuse
I
me.
created.
but I'm asking Mr. Ober because he approved these, and I'm just wondering,
My
If-
understanding of the regulations that came out with regard to the approval of the solicitor's bill is that the time must be identified, the task that
Yes.
it was on had to be identified. It does not, as I understand it, require a full detail other than .6 hours. This is what task was performed and who performed it. Now, beyond that, I'm not aware of anything beyond that I'm required to review. My review is based on, I saw the tasks identified, I saw the time, I consider the time to be reasonable, and therefore I've approved putting it on the bill list for payment.
okay, let me give you an example.
Yes, ma'am.
Travel to and from and attend negotiations, one task. Meet with negotiating team every session, two tasks. But they're all jumbled as one task. Now, one other thing, do we have a call log?
I'm sorry?
Do we
again?
have a phone call log? Under regulations, we should have a call log calling up, cataloging all telephone correspondence to make sure that it matches on the.
I do not have a call log
Okay.
that I can compare the invoice to versus that call list.
Why don't we
When
have
I
a
am
call log?
involved, why don't you have one?
That's right. By
You are not-
statute.
You are not required to by
Excuse me, Mr.
regulation.
McConnell, I'm speaking with Mr. Ogber.
You're asking legal questions, the council is asking.
I'm asking Mr. Ogber.
And I will respond, my response to that is, when I came here, there has not been a call log.
Yes, and I know that.
In reviewing the bill, I'm looking at, and I used the word when I answered your question previously, I'm looking at the tasks that are performed, I'm looking at the time that's being submitted, and in my opinion, they were reasonable for what was identified as the task. A call log has not been put in place. Can a call log be put in place? Certainly can. Again, though, it goes back to looking at your policies, which were updated. In the policy, when it comes to legal fees, and in terms of, not legal fees, but when it comes to that specific aspect, there are options that when we get the regulations that we will be following,